Hello, celebrity gossip enthusiasts. I'm Us Weekly's entertainment director, Travis Cronin, and you're tuned into Us Weekly's Hot Hollywood podcast, where we break down all of the hottest celebrity gossip stories going on right now. And I am so excited to be here because there are a lot of stories that I just need to get off my chest and just find out, am I thinking right? Am I thinking wrong? Well, the two ladies who are here to tell me, Anglophile and, lovely woman, Gwen Flamberg.
I mean, those two things sort of go hand in hand, not so much, but that's me. Hi, guys.
And I think we need a word for people who like The Bachelor, Rosophile, Reasonophile.
Batchophile.
Batchophile.
Rosophile. I like that.
Well, whatever you choose to call her, we call her Baby Woman, deputy editor of UsMagazine.com, Baby Woman Sarah Huron.
I would say people that watch The Bachelor are people who have bad taste in television. And I'm putting myself in that category, but thank you.
I agree. I'm more of a Love is Blind guy, but to each,
that trailer
relationship
looks
show.
So good.
I've already watched the first 7 episodes and
I saw the screeners. I haven't watched them yet. Are they good?
Oh, they're really good. They start out slow, but then the show gets wilder than any other show. Seems
exclusive,
boring.
Everyone. Exclusive.
They don't focus on anyone who's not a main character, but they do bring them back. We call it the in memoriam when they bring them back. Just Love is Blind is just fantastic.
Great show.
God, I've even watched Cosmic Love on Amazon Prime. Not
Never
proud to say that. It's all about astrology, and there's an orb that they all consult with who talks about their astrological sign.
Stop.
Yeah, I was hungover, not a proud day. Well, we have a lot of celebrity news stories. I mean, just divorces, breakups, hot new hookups. It is a Love Lives filled episode. We are going to bring you all of the tea, the nitty gritty, and, facts you can relate to your friends. Because when we say it, it's more than just rumor or gossip because we've run it by the appropriate representatives. But before we dig into all of this, because it is messy, Hanny, let us start with our woes of the week. These are the stories that just made our co-host go, well, whoa. Gwen Flamberg, what made you go whoa this week?
Well, Fashion Month has kind of officially wrapped up, finally, but I am still just in awe over that spray-on dress moment on Bella Hadid at the Coperni show. And if you guys, were under a rock last week, I got to tell you, Bella Hadid stood in the middle of a fashion show for 9 minutes while technicians and the designer literally sprayed on a dress. The spray on was actually spray on fabric, fibers that connected to form, guys, an actual dress. And the part of the amazing thing was that Bella just stood there perfectly for 9 minutes. I'm not sure that anybody else could have done it. And then the designer fashioned the dress on her. And then she just did her typical Bella walk. It was just astounding. I think everybody's thinking about it. All the other designers who showed before Coperni are kind of oh gosh, I thought I had a great show. But really it was the perfect marriage of fashion and science and the future, and talk about a true customized fashion moment. If this becomes a thing, it's really an incredible thing for everyone. But, guys, if you didn't see the video, if you don't know the story, go to usmagazine.com/stylish to watch it happen. And also, of course, we have every celebrity look on the runways, but also in the front row all through Fashion Month, New York, Milan, Paris, London, you name it. Check it all out.
When they put down that sleeve and it showed that the dress was all intact, I mean, my mouth agaped.
Right. And you can rewear that dress. You can take it off, you can put it back on. It's just absolutely astounding. And I thought that Bella's quote unquote performance added to the whole thing, because really
absolutely,
who else could have stood there like a mannequin? Very pretty mannequin.
Probably, hopefully, a lot of the other models in the show. But Bella Hadid did it really, really well, because that is model behavior to stand there like a mannequin, no matter what they prick you or spray on your body. Well, speaking of which, baby girl Sarah Huron, what made you go whoa this week?
Well, so many things that we're going to get to. But what I've been loving about the Kardashians on Hulu, besides everything, is there's so many like little nuggets that, there's the big headlines that come out of it, and those are always worth talking about. But a lot of times it's just like the subtle, casual things they say to each other or when they're ordering food. Like there's just so much to dive into. And I had 3 quick quotes I wanted to mention that all made me go, whoa, this week on the Kardashians. This one is getting some headlines, but it's Kim shopping for Pete. And she talks about, she's in Milan with Kendall, and she says, Pete has the best heart. I feel like people have this idea of him that he dates all these hot girls. And he does. Yeah. But he's also just the sweetest and most thoughtful person. So nice little acknowledgement of Kim of, she's a hot girl and that he's dated a lot of hot girls. And also kind of funny, she threw in there like she was planning to go to the Emmys with him when she found out SNL was nominated for an Emmy. She was like, oh, I have to have a sick look. Obviously, we know they broke up in August and the Emmys were in September and Pete went alone. But side note, she was planning to go to the Emmys with Pete. We also had Kim talk about Kanye, which in light of a lot of things we're going to get to this week, this just checks out. Also, when she was shopping for Pete, she said to her friend, look what Kanye texts me, quote, no white glasses, better make security wear black gloves. The orange made me so mad. Would have went to jail before I went out in that. I will be home for North's game. So he is talking about the Prada jumpsuit that she wore during this trip to Milan with Kendall. Anytime, it's kind of like when he compared her to Marge Simpson, he has a lot of opinions on gloves and on Kim's looks. But then the really most important one that I find is not getting nearly enough attention is when Kim was ordering her pasta in Milan, and she says simply, quote, what is tortellini? And the waiter tells her it's like a ravioli. So she orders some tortellini, and then she goes, do you have anything that's not like spaghetti, like penne? And then she orders a penne. And it was just a fascinating look inside why Kim doesn't really know that many pastas.
Well, I just think that was so weird because she's got a lot of children and, children eat tortellini. Very popular dish with the kids, which makes me wonder, does she ever sit down and eat dinner with her kids at home?
Oh, good question.
Oh my God. I mean, tortellini's just great. Ravioli's too much. Tortellini's just enough.
Let's get these kids some tortellini. These kids are suffering.
Several nannies and chefs do serve the kids cheese tortellini with butter. This is like what kids eat, you guys. Yes. I mean,
that's your Kardashian recap that actually has nothing to do with what happened on the episode, but the 3 things that I took away from it.
Beautiful. Get what is tortellini on a t-shirt.
What made you go, whoa, Travis?
Oh my God, thank you so much for asking, Sarah. Well, what made me go whoa is also baby and future tortellini eater inspired. It is by Hilary Swank. Hilary Swank was on the Drew Barrymore show, and she was like, I am, into my 2nd trimester, so I feel like I can announce it. And she announced that she is having twins, which is so exciting. She is 48 years old, having 2 babies. She looks about 22 and could definitely run laps around all of us. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for her, but it's just not every day you hear of a 48-year-old getting pregnant with twins. And it's just beautiful. She looked so radiant and stunning, and good for her. I always knew she was built different, but damn, that womb is strong.
She, Hilary Swank, I've heard over and over and over again from stylists, photographers, Hilary Swank has one of the best bodies in Hollywood, literally. So it's as
inside and out.
Inside as it is on the outside, apparently. And God bless. Welcome to babies. Can't wait.
I know when this was announced, exciting. I feel like everyone was proceeding with caution, because when she did it on GMA, she was like, I'm expecting twins, but everyone was like, is it her? And then she went on Kelly and Ryan and had the baby bump and was cradling it. It's like, oh, okay, she is carrying them, because 48, she didn't really look pregnant. It's twins. No. It was kind of oh, do we use pregnant in the headlines? Expecting, but she's carrying them. 48. Good for her.
Oh, good for her. Happy to hear it. Well, let us dive into some of the news, because the news is messy this week, Hannies. It really, really is. And we are going to start out with the golden couple of Americana, of sports, of the runway, Gisele and Tom. Now, a side note, Gisele was just pictured out yesterday not wearing her engagement ring, but this is one of the many cracks that we have seen in their relationship. And she just did a cover story where she really alluded to things with with Elle in their October issue. Gisele says, I've done my part, which is to be there for Tom. I moved to Boston. I focused on creating a cocoon and a loving environment for my children to grow up in and be there supporting his dream. Seeing my children succeed and become the beautiful little humans they are, and seeing him succeed and being fulfilled in his career, it makes me happy. At this point in my life, I feel like I've done a good job on that. Yes, no one can deny you have given up so much. You've gone to Boston, you've gone to Tampa. Pretty sure they weren't your top picks. You did it. Now, just in case you forgot, they share their son Benjamin, who's 12, Vivian, who's 9, and they relocated to Florida when Tom Brady had signed with the Tampa Buccaneers in 2020.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you go, Sporty Spice.
Oh, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers, look at me. Just because of Gisele, do I know this?
Right.
And he had retired and then signed on to them after more than 2 decades of already playing football. I feel like 20 minutes is too much of football. This is 20 years. And then he changed his mind. So Gisele said Tom Brady said, these past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands. And
what about in the home, Tom? What about in the home?
About in the home? And Gisele's last quote that she said was, I feel very fulfilled in that way as a mother and his wife. And now it's going to be my turn. It's not like I'm going to be in the valley forever talking about her life. She really laid it all out for Elle and was like, it's my turn. I have raised these kids. I have moved for this man. God damn it. I can't believe he went back. And sources have, of course, confirmed to us that this is the reason they're divorcing, because she can't get her shine and Tom Brady just can't give up the pigskin.
They have hired that was good. They have hired divorce lawyers, but I feel like this feels like kind of like a Kim and Kanye situation where Kim waited to file or make any real official decisions before like they exhausted every option. And there's a lot of money at stake here. Like everyone obviously knows, but from everything I'm reading, like she's worth a lot more than Tom. And we know how much Tom is worth. So there's millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars at stake, 3 kids. And if anyone knows me, you know that I've been waiting my whole life for justice for Bridget Moynihan. And I don't know, you guys. I think if Gisele cheats on Tom, that would be true justice. But his relationship falling apart and him, kind of like shrinking into his body. Have you seen those pictures of him? Like, what's happening to his face? He's throwing tablets on the sidelines. Like, Tom Brady's imploding. And like, I don't know, kind of feels like maybe Bridget Moynihan's getting the justice she deserves that I've been manifesting for a decade.
2 decades.
Forever.
It's sad to see that he just can't be there for her. I mean, we've heard from sources to confirm this, but we can see that she has given up so much of her life, so many years of her life to raise these kids. And she's just asking for her time in the spotlight to launch her businesses. She's an activist. She has a lot going on, and Tom just won't do it. So screw you, Tom Brady. I mean, you don't deserve her.
That's right.
Team Gisele.
Team Gisele.
Team Bridget Moynihan.
Team Gisele. Well, so we will, update you on their upcoming divorce as soon as we get info. Well, let's move on to Harry and Meghan. Now, Harry and Meghan are moving, y'all. I guess they've done all that needs to be done in Montecito, and they are, via the Santa Barbara News Press, shout out, thank you, Santa Barbara. The Sussexes are considering leaving their Montecito home and relocating to a very fancy neighborhood south of Santa Barbara that, quote, has a collection of multi-million-dollar mansions and miles of horse trails and a private beach. Now, I did a little bit of Googling, and like the cheapest place in this place is like $21 million.
Oh.
And we're like, why are they moving? But their property value has gone way up. According to The Sun, the Sussexes purchased their home for $14.6 million, and it has appreciated by, it's The Sun, so 12 million pounds, about $14.9 million, more than doubling their profit, making it almost worth $30 million house. And I feel like if you're buying Harry and Meghan's, add a $5 million more on that just to say it. And so they're, I guess, moving to some billionaires south and selling their home and making a whole lot of money. Honestly, best financial and entertainment decision they've made in years.
And they're moving away from all the famous people in Montecito.
Mm.
Yeah, and apparently Montecito has some property robberies going on, so that could have
Oh.
something to do with it, that
Mm.
they're like feeling a little uncomfortable, but they're moving down. And, I hope you have fun there.
I mean, I'm sure
Um,
we'll get an Architectural Digest interview or video, so we'll get more information when the move is solidified.
definitely,
Definitely.
definitely will. I can't wait to see what ridiculously expensive house they buy because I like pretty pictures of them. Well, let's move on to a couple that, I mean, really, true love took a hit. Baby woman Sarah Huron, sister, sister. Tell me what happened to one of these
Sister,
sisters.
sister. Yeah, I have no idea why this like hit me in all the right places, like in a bad way. But Tia Mowry, you guys, has been married to her husband Corey for 14 years. They've been together for 22,
Ooh.
and she has filed for divorce to end this union. After more than a decade of marriage, she cited irreconcilable differences, a tale as old as time. And she said in a statement, "I've always been honest with my fans, and today is no different. I wanted to share that Corey and I have decided to go our separate ways. These decisions are never easy and not without sadness. We'll maintain a friendship as we co-parent our beautiful children. I am grateful for all the happy times we had together and want to thank my friends, family, and fans for your love and support as we start this new chapter moving forward in our lives." They have 2 kids, son Cree, 11, and daughter Cairo, 4. Hero, I'm not sure what her name is. And they both posted some cryptic Instagram stories. She wrote,
Yes.
"Letting go can be painful, but it won't hurt as much as holding on to the illusion." Oof. And he wrote, "Acting off emotions will cost you every time." So feels like kind of a long time coming on her end, but also like because there was an illusion, but for him, maybe like what's going on here, girlfriend? Like I said, they've been together for 22 years. So after the sister fame and her and Tamira were like everything. I think they met in like 2000, and obviously sister was huge in the 90s. So, and he was like an inspiring actor. And we've never really known Tia without Corey. If you watched their reality show, if you follow her career at all, and he is now on that All American spinoff on the CW. So I wonder, he is kind of getting maybe more fame or work than he has in a while. He denied cheating. People are flooding his Instagram comments with accusations. Like the Tia stans are out. Someone was like, "I heard he cheated," and he responded, "Lies," in capital letters. So that's all we really know, but I was pretty sad about this one. I don't know why.
Well, it's sad. It's sad because she's so like relatable,
Yeah.
Big part of it.
Yeah, she sort of reminds me of Lauren Conrad when she was at like her heyday a little bit as like America's best friend.
Yeah.
Like we all see Tia as like our best friend and like now this amazing mother, and we just see their face and you just feel comfortable and warm.
Yeah.
And we're sad.
We're sad. And you know what? Tamira is still married to her husband, Adam. They have 2 kids as well. But
Yeah.
I really liked that reality show Tia and Tamara on the Style Network, RIP Style Network. But I was a big consumer of that channel.
Well, just look at Tamara and pretend it's Tia and her loving marriage, even though their husbands look nothing alike.
Yeah, literally.
Literally,
Tamara's married to a white man, but it's fine.
Yes, she is. And I mean, I love All Americans, so I
love All American too. I've never seen the
love that
spinoff,
show.
which is the one Corey's on, but
Same. I have yet to watch that. Well, let's move on because court papers have been drafted and we have our Esquire lawyer hats on. Yes, that's right. The unqualified lawyers are here to break down court documents yet again. And guess who it is, this guys? Guess who could it possibly be that have filed new papers in their
could it be the
divorce?
same documents or not documents, same accusations and drama that we've been talking about for 7 years?
Yes, that's exactly right, Sarah. It is the same drama, except turned up a little bit that we have been talking about with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie again. And, I feel like I can't stop covering this. Every time I go to do the topics, I'm like, but it's still sort of wild to see what's coming out of there because these accusations are even more turned up than the last. Of course, they are about the incident on the plane that led to their divorce. Angelina Jolie has filed and detailed new abuse allegations against Brad Pitt. We have obtained the papers. Hey, shout out to us. And she claimed in these that he, quote, choked one of their 6 kids and, quote, struck another one while they were on that 2016 flight to California from Miraval. And it's really, really just messed up. A source close to Brad Pitt says these are, quote, completely untrue, and that she continues to rehash, revise, reimagine her description of an event that happened 6 years ago by adding completely untrue information each time she fails to get what she wants. Now, these documents do say that Brad was physically and emotionally abusive towards her, his then wife there, and, quote, when one of the children verbally defended Jolie, Pitt lunged at his own child, grabbed him from behind to stop him. And, this is sort of the story that we had heard before that happened on the plane, that he was yelling at her and one of the kids. We won't say which one we heard it was, but tried to stop him. And then Brad yelled at him aggressively and was drinking a lot on the plane. But these sort of just make it sound a lot scarier. What did you guys think when you read the headlines and poured through these documents with your lawyer hats on?
I mean, Sarah Heron is much more of a, I will call her a counsel. Yes. General counsel of the Hot Hollywood podcast. But, it's not, from a legal standpoint, whatever, I just cannot believe that she is continuing to rehash this. At a point, these two have to just come to some sort of decision to move on from this. It's just become the most acrimonious divorce. And while I am certainly in agreement with her that this behavior of his was not positive, she is just, I'm losing respect. It's just really hard to listen to someone who just keeps rehashing the accusations over and over again. Let it go. She's trying to marry him and it's over. This has been over for 6 years. Come to some sort of compromise. This divorce is just too acrimonious and there are several kids involved. Nobody needed to hear the nitty gritty of what happened 6 years ago again.
Yeah, it is again. The only detail that I thought was different, or maybe I just missed the lot, a couple months ago when these papers came up, because a lot of this is coming up again because of the fight about the winery.
Yeah.
And one detail I didn't know, or I just missed the first time, was that we knew he allegedly poured beer on Angelina, but according to these docs, he also poured beer and red wine on the kids, which is wild to picture. And obviously,
it doesn't surprise me. He is a recovering rageaholic and alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
This happened 6 years ago. Nothing that happened on that plane was good.
Right.
And it led to the dissolution of a marriage with 6 kids.
And the FBI.
And the FBI, which again, the FBI didn't investigate and clear Brad Pitt of whatever he was accused of. The only other context I'll add, based from my understanding, is this complaint was filed as a part of the fight over Chateau Miraval, as we've been talking about forever. Brad previously claimed he wanted to buy Angelina's share in the winery, but she sold it to a third party, which we know. And in these new documents, Angelina is claiming that she did give Brad an opportunity to buy her out, but he allegedly demanded that she sign a non-disclosure agreement that would, quote, contractually, what is that word? Contractually prohibited her from speaking outside of the court about Brad's physical and emotional abuse of her and the children. After she refused to sign that, he walked away from the deal. So again, I agree with you. It's the same thing of rehashing it, but that's just the context of why this is public again. And the New York Times getting their hands on these documents is a fight over, he wants her to stop talking about this and she doesn't want to sign that. So, and they're still fighting over this freaking winery.
At this point, if all of these allegations are true, he's the bad guy in this. But at this point, with the rehashing, it makes her look petty. Mm. So it's nobody is winning here. Everybody is losing. Let's just move on.
Yeah, I agree. This is all bad. Nobody's winning. I don't know what she expects.
But it's not a great look on his side. I mean, again, I've always said it's so bizarre because I agree with everything you're saying, but it's always weird. And I don't know what happened on the plane. I'm not saying we need to cancel Brad Pitt. I'm not the police or the FBI. I have no idea. But it is so bizarre
General
that
counsel.
I'm just the person who I'm just Elwoods in training. But I just think it's interesting that he not gets away with it because these headlines have been dragged through them. I'm not saying whatever, but it's just weird the way that the world always reacts to it. And also that not a great look to try to get her to sign an NDA to never talk about this again. Like that's kind of like silencing your victim, which when you think about it isn't great, but at the same time, there is so many kids involved. So I know why he doesn't want this to come up every 3 months. It's just so messy.
It is. And you're right. It's inexcusable what he did. And the newest revelation that sort of shocked me was the choking. Because before we'd only heard the beer pouring and the yelling, which is so bad, inexcusable. Literally the meme, a case.
But like what
FBI.
happens on Vanderpump Rules? Like Tom Schwartz pouring beer.
That's what I mean. It's horrible and inexcusable. And there should be a divorce and she should get primary custody. But it was yelling and, liquids, which is horrible, but not really, physically abusive. But so the choking, I think, was like the turn up where Angelina was like, no, you guys need to see what is going on with this. But again, we'll bring it to you next week when new court papers are filed with a new detail about what went down on the plane.
All over this wine better be freaking good.
It is. It is. It's a lovely wine.
Send me some.
We'll bring you some.
I'm sure they love me over there.
Yeah, they can't get enough of us. Well, let us go to the next story. This is a little twofer, a little two-parter. We're going to start with Gigi Hadid and Leonardo DiCaprio. They are shutting down Paris Fashion Week, the end of fashion month. They are together, and a source tells us that it is, quote, no coincidence that they are both in Paris. I mean, even though that Leo just follows models wherever he goes. But the source tells us that they, quote, have been having secret meetups and spending time together privately. They are very much into each other and are seeing where things go. Again, the source says they are, quote, not serious by any means, more so having fun and getting to know each other. And I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't. I want to hear from you guys.
I feel like I'm a bit surprised because Gigi's old for Leo. He has a history of going younger and younger and younger and younger. And, he hovers around 21, 22. She's old for him. She also has a kid. So this is like a whole new type of person for Leo to be involved with. He's usually the one who's got more fame. Who knows, guys? Maybe this is finally the time when Leo's light is on. You know what I would really just love to see? Can you imagine if Gisele and Leo rekindled?
Gasp.
Wow. Let's manifest that.
My woe of the decade.
That would be so much to unpack.
I loved them together. I felt like she was the only one that was at his level and challenged him, and he just looked differently with him. Ooh,
Glenn, and maybe he wants to be stepdaddy Leo. I mean, Gigi has a kid. He's never dated a woman with a kid before, has he?
No.
Definitely
not. They've barely been of birthing age.
Gigi, little baby Kai is still like a little toddler. That's a lot to take on.
Yeah. And having Zayn as like the potential argument with baby daddy. Oof. We saw what he did to Yolanda.
Yeah.
It's a lot, guys. It's a lot.
I don't know. Sarah, what do you think about these two?
Well, now I'm shipping Gisele and Leo because Gwen just blew my mind. I think it's fine. It's fun. I want to get a photo that's not so blurry. I've seen the blurry pictures of them in a club. So I want one good no way outing, and then we can move on.
I feel like Gigi makes horrible decisions with men that we've seen. And she's just that friend that we all have that has it together, has a great career, lovely person inside.
Bad picker, just should be in charge of everything but their own love life. So that's sort of the only reason that my ship is more the Titanic, that I just I don't really love it. But Gigi spoke out this week against Kanye West, who Ye was showing at Paris Fashion Week, and called out Vogue fashion editor Gabriella Karifa Johnson. Gwen, well, she called him out first because of his ridiculous White Lives Matter shirt.
She called him out first.
This is a saga, guys. And to be quite honest, I think that Ye has finally done it. I do not know how he recovers from this one, because during his fashion show, during Paris Fashion Week, it was a surprise Yeezy show that all of a sudden was happening, which was sort of a big deal and big news. And then even bigger news when he made a statement with a t-shirt that said White Lives Matter. And of course, in her review of the show, Vogue International Fashion Director Gabriella Carifa Johnson, spoke out about this, said that those shirts were violence, and then Ye slammed her. Well, Gigi came to Gabriella's defense and she wrote, "You wish you had a percentage of her intellect. You have no idea. Ha ha. If there's actually a point to any of your she might be the only person that could save you, as if the honor of being invited to your show should keep someone from giving their opinion. LOL, you're a bully and a joke." So, go Gigi for calling Kanye out for, really what he was, a bully. Other stars have spoken out, Hailey Bieber and more. I mean, Kanye, yay, whatever the F we want to call him, he just tries to be provocative. He is thirsty for attention, but I think he's crossed the line here, guys. And I don't know how he's coming back from it.
I just think this is the line that he crosses all of the time. We've seen it so many times before, that it's performative. He loves attention more than the family that he is leaving behind. Honestly, he makes the Kardashians look like, sort of not fame obsessed. With Kanye, he only did the White Lives Matter to get attention. It worked. But calling out Gabrielle, who is like an industry standard, she's been around a long time, and calling out her boots and saying, "Oh, Anna, I know Anna hates these boots." First of all, bullying and just so infantile to be like, "Oh, Anna Wintour's voice is the only voice in fashion that matters." It's very 10 years ago.
Gabriella is a Black woman.
Yeah.
So it was this whole thing is, yes, Ye is performative, but this is ugly, and he crossed the line of appropriateness. I don't see how he comes back from this. And honestly, if anybody legitimate supports this human ever again, they will lose credibility.
I think you're right in the fashion community. Sarah, do you still support Kanye West? I heard you do.
I don't think I ever supported Kanye West. I was a Chris Humphrey shipper. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think it's super interesting that Gigi Hadid also and Hailey Bieber have been two of the bigger voices kind of speaking out against him, as far as I know a lot of people in the fashion industry, and they are in the fashion industry as well, but kind of more mainstream. And also two good friends of Kendall and Kylie. Which I think is really interesting. And I know Jaden Smith walked out of the show, I believe, and Kendall to post about it. So what I'm kind of fascinated by is the inner workings of how the Kardashians are navigating Kanye. In this sense, everything he's done in the last year on his Instagram, it just feels crazy to me that this account is still up and running. I know we can't, a society can't shut it down, but in what world, is there no one in his life to get through to him that it's just not helping, that your kids are going to read this? It doesn't make any sense. It's not helping your career. It's not helping your personal life. It's not the outlet. You're a musician, you're whatever. I don't know, choose anything but Instagram, I feel to get your point across. And one of the other things he said when he was going off about all of this is he brought up the Kardashians again, and Khloe fired back and she said, "Yee, I love you, but I don't want to do this on social media, but you keep bringing it here. You are the father of my nieces and nephews, and I'm trying to be respectful, but please stop tearing Kimberly down and using our family when you want to deflect. Again, with the birthday narrative. Enough already. We all know the truth, and in my opinions, everyone's tired of it. You know exactly where your children are at all times, and you wanted separate birthdays. I have seen all the texts to prove it. And when you changed your mind and wanted to attend, you came. Like you have pointed out yourself, she is the one taking care of your kids 80% of the time. Please leave her and the family out of it so the kids can be raised peacefully. I come from a place of love, and I'm happy to continue this conversation privately if you will." So this is him going, he said, because he wrote, "Candace Owens was the only public figure to say that it was wrong for the Kardashians to keep me from seeing my daughter, or we can just chime in when we want to tear a Black man down for actually having a different political opinion. And for all the audience so outraged about my t-shirt, where was you when I couldn't see my kids? I went public in hope of support at the time."
And while this is all so problematic, what I'm taking from it, just so I can deal with this tragedy, is that his fashion is terrible, and that
totally. I saw the Gap trash bags in person, and I was like, "What are we doing?"
Oh, I was looking for those. Every Gap I saw, I was like, oh, are the trash bags in there? But like socks with rhinestone flip-flops, like t-shirts that say White Lives Matter. It's just very elementary. It's not even good provocateurship. There is no innuendo or like fashionness that's going on with it. And it just seems like an angry toddler who wants attention and validation and wants to tear usually other women down, to get where he wants to be. And it's just gross. The shirt wasn't even cute. It wasn't even worth the saga. Like, it's just for the pomp and circumstance. And I hate that stunt queen. I really do. Well, on that happy note, that is all of the time we have today. We would really like to hear what you think about the Kanye West saga, because the only thing I can say is I'm glad it's opened up some type of conversation. But that's the only thing I can say about the whole Kanye West show, because it was just all total trash. Well, thank you to my hosts, Sarah and Gwen, for helping me spill this piping hot, real hot this week, celebrity this week. Again, this is Travis Cronin on Us Weekly's Hot Hollywood podcast with your weekly peek into the glamour, glitter, fashion, favorite celebrities, because everyone but Kanye West, they're all just like us. Thanks, guys. We'll be back next week.